A father sees his son nearing manhood. What shall he tell that son? Life is hard. Be steel, be a rock. And this might stand him for the storms and serve him for humdrum monotony and guide him among sudden betrayals and tighten him for slack moments. Life is a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. And this too might serve him. Brutes have been gentled where lashes failed. The growth of a frail flower in a path up has sometimes shattered and split a rock. A tough will counts. So does desire. So does a rich, soft wanting. Without rich wanting, nothing arrives. Without rich wanting, nothing arrives. Tell him too much money has killed men and left them dead years before burial. The quest of lucre, beyond a few easy needs, has twisted good enough men, sometimes into dry, thwarted worms. Tell him time as a stuff can be wasted. Tell him to be a fool every so often and to have no shame over having been a fool, yet learning something out of every folly, hoping to repeat none of the cheap follies, thus arriving at intimate understanding of a world numbering many fools. Tell him to be alone often and get at himself, and above all, tell himself no lies about himself, whatever the white lies and protective fronts he may use against other people. Tell him solitude is creative if he is strong, and the final decisions are made in silent rooms. Tell him to be different from other people if it comes natural and easy being different. Let him have lazy days seeking his deeper motives. Let him seek deep for where he is born natural. Then he may understand Shakespeare and the Wright brothers, Pasteur, Pavlov, Michael Faraday, and free imaginations bringing changes into a world resenting change. He will be lonely enough to have time for the work he knows as his own. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 24th day of the third month of 2023, the International Year of Millets. A millet is a cereal grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils, bearing a large crop of small seeds, which are chiefly used to make flour. 2023 is also the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace. Here in Jamaica and in the United States, the month of March is being observed as Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month. Also in the US, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, Endometriosis Awareness Month, and Salt Awareness Month. And in the UK, March is also Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and Women's History Month. It's Covenant Day in Northern Marianas and National Tree Planting Day in Uganda. It's World Tuberculosis Day. Hoy es viernes el 24 de marzo 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continua para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est vendredi le 24 mars 2023 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Friday, the 24th of March, 2023, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Walk into Marjan's Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Marjan's Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335. The time by Marjan's Pharmacy is 2:15.
Get a flying start out the blocks with Imperial Optical and Imperial Optical Boutique. Our blue filter anti-glare transition lenses are available at our 9 locations island-wide. See you at the finish line.
The girl passing my granny and save her money under her mattress.
What at an all-time so? That's where I save my money in the bank. Come on, buy a little house, but also save in a building society. We have to be smart. We always save our money.
So, what if the bank crash?
Well, that's
That's where JDIC comes in. Look at this. Like the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme, once you save your money in a commercial bank, merchant bank, or building society, your deposit is covered up to a maximum of $1.2 million per depositor per financial institution if the institution fails. All the information that you need is available at jdic.org, and you can follow their social media platform for more information.
DIC, protecting deposits for you and me. Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness. Your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 876-922-4112 or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Only on Power 106 FM.
And they said with a smile, what I really like that is the power of the car keys. See you later, can I have them please? And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. Yeah, you know we'll have a good time then. Not long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Depending on the nature of your device, downloading is free, listening is free, wherever, whenever. We acknowledge those of you who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United States and if you're in the United Kingdom, I beg your pardon, and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. You don't need to have an account to access YouTube. All you need is a smart device like a smartphone, tablet, computer, laptop, desktop, any one of those. And then you're going to need internet connection and, importantly, internet connectivity. One sure way of testing for connectivity is by opening a browser like Google Chrome, for example. And if you're able to browse, you're good to go. If not, then you have a problem on hand that you will need to address. How about that? What's on your mind this afternoon? The lines are open, as usual, to hear your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your criticisms, your recommendations, your suggestions, whatever is on your mind. Get the picture? We're ready for you. 876-922-4112-5. Those are the regular numbers. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us via WhatsApp as well. That number is 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And let's continue. Some messages already in the box. See if we can clear those. And some of them unrelated as well. Let's see. Paul Harrison, if you're still on the island, welcome home. Good to have you on board. Also home right now, Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis. Welcome home. And welcome home to Dr. Agoram DK. And he is Jamaican. Don't be put off by his name. He's Jamaican. He's home as well. And quite a few Jamaicans in the diaspora coming home for a little R&R, or sadly perhaps to lay a loved one to rest, maybe to check on their affairs. In fact, one of my former drama teachers, Mrs. Pauline Lawrence Matthew, came in for a few days, and she's back. Let's just say she's back home. But sorry, we didn't even get to press flesh, but we talked on the phone. And well, don't get us started on Mrs. Matthew now and her impact. Extraordinary. We'll leave that there for the time being. Let's go through the messages. In fact, there were a few that we weren't able to take. I think Croc sent us one yesterday towards the end of the program. I don't think we actually read it. No, we didn't. Right, this is the one where he says, "Greetings. It is now being made out that the most corrupt people and consequently the most corrupt organization in Jamaica are the Integrity Commissioners and the Integrity Commission, respectively. We're being asked to believe that if we curtail the powers or get rid of the Integrity Commission entirely, then the perception of corruption would be drastically reduced, since it is the corrupt acts of the Commission that is responsible for the rank stench of corruption which is thick in the air surrounding Jamaica." From Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much. Sarcasm becomes you, Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much for your message. Here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And who is this now? All right, that's a request we can only handle off air. Good afternoon as well to Andrea Messam. Trusting all is well with you. Thanks for connecting, and all the very best. Let's hop across to a couple of the other platforms on YouTube. Donovan Campbell says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Thank God for another day." Asha Ash says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Just tuning in from London." Welcome, Asha Ash. Sean says, "Great afternoon to you too, Sean." Anne Ramsey says, "Happy Friday." Happy Friday, Anne Ramsey. Malcolm's buildingandtrading.com saying, "Blessed day to all. Life is a blessing. So we give thanks, Sir Malcolm. Be strong and keep the good work of educating the world. Let us keep safe." Thank you very much for your message. Malcolm's buildingandtrading.com. Also messaging us, quite a number of people. Dr. Karen Dunkley. "Blessings, Ambassador Dervan Malcolm Live," she says. You're very kind, Dr. Dunkley. Thank you for your message. Jessica, the undefeated Malcolm, says, "Blessing and peace to you, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon. Have a great weekend." Same to you, Jessica. Faye Weller says, "Blessed afternoon, Mr. Dervan and your faithful listeners. God bless this program." Thank you. Chantal da Costa says, Buenas tardes, Mr. Malcolm. Buenas tardes, Chantal. She says, your program is not only educational, but it uplifts me mentally after a very trying week. Well, we're encouraged by those words of yours, Chantal da Costa. Chensu Cheryl says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Keep up the good work. You're very kind. Chensu Cheryl, thank you very much. Natalie Winter says, great afternoon, all from bleak looking Washington Gardens, Jamaica, enjoying the discourse on Facebook. Kath Kelly says, good day, arrived in the island yesterday from Atlanta. I missed your program. Good to be back in Jamaica to tune into your enlightened and educational program. Kindness becomes you, Kath Kelly. Thank you. Charlene Kelly says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Your program is very educational and informative. Thank you all so much. But without your input, it's bland and blank. Your input is critical. It is your program, both sides of the story, here on Power 106 FM. Let's go to the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello. Good afternoon, Uncle Dervan Malcolm. How are you doing, sir?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I'm great so far. How is your day going so far, Uncle Dervan? I'm only calling to hail you. How are you doing so far?
All is well, thank you. And you?
Yes, I'm great so far. You guys all right?
We're giving thanks.
Yes, you're Mr. Educational and Mr. Professor.
Thank you.
Yes, take care. I will talk to you another time. Next time when I talk to you guys, I will debate about the prison situation, okay? This note from a call at that time. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. We didn't tell you, but the piece we started with this afternoon, the poem, is entitled A Father to His Son by Carl Sandburg. A Father to His Son by Carl, with a C, C-A-R-L, Sandburg, S-A-N-D-B-U-R-G. Thank you very much. So that was the poem that we started with this afternoon, and the song Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin. Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, C-H-A-P-I-N. Who is this now? Mr. Malcolm, can you say what happened to the man? Which man? Greetings and peace profound. And also Mr. Garnet Roper. This is from Glenn in Sanguinetti. I think we did address greetings and peace profound some time ago. I don't remember if it was a case of having migrated or made some kind of a transition. I can't recall at this time. It's been a long time. And with respect to Garnet Roper, I gather he's in another country now. So I've heard. I think so. I don't know anything beyond that. I'm sorry. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The Jamaica Down Syndrome Foundation will host the Lift Up Downs concert this Sunday, March 26th at the Randy Williams Entertainment Center's Amphitheater in St. Andrew, and Power 106 FM will be there. Tune in for all the thrills and excitement from the event, including performances from guest artists and the special needs community. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Down Syndrome Foundation, Daisy Health Technology and Puja Points Limited, Rose Family Pharmacy, Cumberland Medical, Brownstown Pharmacy, Biomed Pharmacy, True Adventure in Manufacturing Company Limited. That's Power 106 FM live from the Lift Up Downs this Sunday, March 26th, right here on Power 106 FM.
My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And then he walked away, but his smile never differed. Said, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. A couple of stories trending on the Gleaners website, jamaica-gleaner.com. St. Catherine husband accused of killing wife, further remanded. The St. Catherine husband accused of killing his wife during an alleged domestic dispute was today further remanded. The case was mentioned in the St. Catherine Parish Court before Parish Judge Desiree Alain. Also, Cuba holds national elections with no opposition candidates. Cuba holds National Assembly elections Sunday, but there are only 470 candidates running for the 470 seats, with no opposition challengers and no campaigning. Voters essentially will do more than endorse the nominated slate of candidates. At this time, when we're looking at constitutional reform and related matters, would we want to have this system of government in Cuba, where national elections are being held and you got to use a strange term, unipolar. It's one view, one position, one politics, whatever you call it. Would you be satisfied with that as a system of government, as it is in Cuba now, where they're holding National Assembly elections on Sunday? 470 candidates. They're all in support of the government. No form of opposition. Would you be fine with that, those who are listening to us? Just a thought. Or are you okay with the system in Jamaica that makes provision for an opposition party, so that you're either for one side or another? Or you would prefer a more pluralistic system, a system of multiple parties being able to vie successfully or competitively as the party of choice? We look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. So Cuba holds national elections with no opposition candidates. Pakistan court grants protection to Imran Khan from arrest. Richard Pandoy, Calabar Old Boy, appointed to the Bank of Jamaica board. Woman charged for allegedly attacking man in St. Thomas. Funds allocated to truck water to St. Anne communities. And Hong Kong traffic accident leaves 87 people injured. Those are some of the stories trending. Let's right now go to Rohan Johnson of Atlas in Ocho Rios, calling us on the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the listeners. Yes, I just want to wish you the best weekend ever and safe drive back home. It was indeed a pleasure listening to you throughout the week. So all the best to you and the family.
Thank you. Same to you and yours.
And then, yes, start it all over again on Monday.
Looking forward to
All
that.
the best, sir.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care.
You too. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Some more messages coming in. Good afternoon. Where did it go? On this device. All right, this one is from Good Day Dervan. Goodness, where did it go? Come back here. Here we go. Good Day Dervan. Excellent system in Cuba. Cuba is doing well. Jamaica is a failed state, and it doesn't matter what others are saying. Well, if we first of all would want to confirm what are the features of a failed state. That's point number one. So what is the standard? So the features of a failed state. What does that look like? The common characteristics of failed states include ongoing civil violence, corruption, crime, poverty, illiteracy, and crumbling infrastructure. Even if a state is functioning properly, it can fail if it loses credibility and the trust of the people. So there are characteristics there that match what is happening or not happening here in Jamaica. The matter of ongoing civil violence, corruption, that's perennial, poverty, that's been with us forever. Illiteracy, well, we have improved those numbers. We still have work to do, and COVID hasn't helped us, but not the worst country in the world when it comes to literacy. Crumbling infrastructure, to some extent, but not of the magnitude that it would be happening in a truly failed state. There are always efforts to repair, rehabilitate, restore, renew, and other forms of shoring up the infrastructure. So there are varying degrees under the banner of failed state. So some are at an advanced state, some are just about getting there, and so on. So, but what does that mean? Does that mean that we all just put down arms, in a manner of speaking, and just walk away from the country of our birth, like totally? And people do that, which is fine. They're free to do that. But if a significant number of us do that, then things get tougher. But thank you very much for your message. There's a rejoinder. There is criterion for failed state, but this, or do you mean there are criteria for the failed state, but this could be adjusted for Jamaica situation. Yeah, well, we're far from being a perfect nation, but we still have a lot to be grateful for and to be thankful for. And while we're still breathing, why not try to make a difference? After all, when that breath has ceased, that's it. So let's do what we can while we can, for whomever we can. Let's continue to play our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. But Parson christening picnic us, and we have to dance a yard before we dance abroad. So let's work together to fix Jamaica. Only Jamaicans can fix Jamaica. Thank you very much for your message. And let's see, who is this now? Coming through on our WhatsApp line, same as the text line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yesterday, you was asking me about a place or a thing, and then suddenly, just as I begin to talk to you, I heard somebody else online, and then I went blank.
Oh, sorry about that. Not sure. The wires perhaps crossed.
Oh, sir, you was talking about characteristic ghetto. Something of the sort you was asking the question.
Yes.
I was telling you that the ghetto I know and, always think about is a place where a lot of people pack up. But the definition is different.
It would have to be.
Because a place with small groups of people. You understand? But me know it. And then it just went off. I said, look at this.
Are you there, or did the gremlins in the system get you again? Hello?
I'm still here.
Oh.
I'm still here, Mr. Malcolm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So, the system, I don't know if it's the network or what, but boy, I tell you, sometimes the thing just went up, it just went down, up fluctuating like that. Not good. But it's not so bad today.
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I just leave the farm not too long and come back down the road and was just looking at a farming area coming into Montego Bay. And I was saying to myself, when we are going to get these lands into some real productions,
Well, for what it's worth, there is some action in that area. It can always be better, but there is some action happening there. Even in the midst of the drought, as reported in TV news last night.
Yes, that is true. So I just want to say to the government, the ICE officer of the land, please stay focused, which is the Prime Minister and his team, the opposition. Let us remove what you would have called the brackets and work together to build Jamaica, to move forward into a better place. And I think as if we should go strongly in the best policies in this little island, I think is a win-win situation. The days when orange and lime no used to agree is over. And I think this Prime Minister is going to get bonus when in time up. Not money, but more time to serve. Because we want strong leaders in the region. And I would love to
Hold
see
a moment,
Jamaica
please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and/or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Treat yourself to famous Jamaican jerk dishes at Sweetwood Jerk Joint. Succulent pork, chicken served with mouth-watering side orders. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, open every day. Call 876-906-4854 or come to 78 Knoxville Boulevard, New Kingston in a secured environment. Across from Emancipation Park, all COVID-19 protocols observed. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, the home of Jamaican jerk.
On your marks. Set.
The Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships takes place from Tuesday, March 28 to Saturday, April 1 at the National Stadium, and Power 106 FM brings you all the action. Tune into both sides of the story. Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31 for updates. Roundup during Power Play, Tuesday, March 28 to Friday, March 31, and live simulcast on Saturday, April 1. Coverage of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships is brought to you by Imperial Optical Jamaica, Coast to Coast Group of Companies, Moscoville Hardware, Marja Black Quarry and Block Factory, Community Meds Pharmacy, Fire Equipment Sales and Services Limited, Massive Used Parts Super Value Auto Care Center Limited, VW Investments, and CIWI Electrical Sales Limited.
Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. I was just saying is that we need strong leaders, and we see wherein we're getting there. And we just have to come in with the best policies. In my region here, I am saying to all young people, I am going into the schools, right? And I say to the teachers, spare even half an hour, one time a month, and come together and see if you can go into some farming. Team up. And you go there one day to the month and put in your labor. At the ending of the year, you would surprise to see whether you're planting coconut, whether you're planting sweet potato or corn. I know that these teachers will be into a better place. It can't be just classroom. That is essential. But I am saying to these groups, the lawyers as well, the doctors as well, the soil is blessing. And we all have to do it together. And when you have educated people doing these things, we can be more productive because they can do the diversified better, and see if this country can go into a better place. That is what we have to do. It can't be we are just one group of people just going this way and the other group just going. We all have to stitch together, Mr. Malcolm, to get it done. And we need to get the job done. We can't continue on this path. We want production to ramp up. We must baby coconut, baby oranges, baby pear. Miles of corns and sweet potato I want to see in this country. And I say to small farmers, let us stitch together and open some businesses. I want to walk into a supermarket in the West and hear that is a farmer who own it, our farmers. Right? And I want to put on at least 1.5 million people on the tax net. I just want them to pay at least $500 every year. And I don't call it ghetto no more. I call it inner city because these are ambitious people and they're willing to pay their little part to make this country better, to make them have better road, to make them have better water system. Right?
How do you plan to mobilize? How do you plan to mobilize the people along the lines of what you're hoping for?
In the coming months, I will be having rallies in every corner of this country, in the 14th parish, to sensitize people what taxes is all about and what it has done to the people of any country that we are living into. And I gather the people who is paying for who are not paying right now will be paying less in the future. And I will be walking back to Lucy Harbour So I'm asking farmers, start plant some more of the blue banana, like what I have, because it's good for a lot of complaint, the blue banana.
That's it. Thank you. Are you there? Oh, thank you very much for the call. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. This message says Maypen Cemetery is in a deplorable condition. When has Maypen Cemetery not been in a deplorable condition? It's from I was a little boy, and I've had reason to move along that area pretty often. From I was a little boy, the place has stayed the same. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, the rest of the message, let's get the rest of the message in. Uh, Maypen Cemetery is in a deplorable state, failed state, with most of the graves open as a result of scavengers looking for gold. I went to look for my mother's grave and to remove her remains and was shocked to see trees growing in graves. A country is looked upon as a civilized state according to how they look after the dead and poor. More than that, how they look after children, how they look after women, how they look after animals, how they look after the elderly, all of those. That's how you judge the character of a nation. The cemetery in Spanish Town near, I think, I'm not sure which place this is. Oh, I think you mean, what's it called? Taw's Pen. I think it's Taw's Pen. I see it spelled here Thoys. It's a different place. Taw's Pen. Or I don't know if that's the same one as Number 5 Cemetery. I don't know. But anyway, in a similar state, get your team to travel to these two cemeteries. You think you're the only one who travels as far as these places are concerned? And you don't realize that there are those of us who would have seen these things from a long time. As I said, from I was a little boy. And that's a fact. That is a solid fact. Maypen Cemetery has looked one way. Every now and then, there is some bushing of the area, insofar as they're able to, and then it pretty much stays the same after that. So nothing changes there, unfortunately. Here's a call coming through on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Wake up. It's afternoon time.
Yeah, wake up. Yeah, man, wake up, man. So where going, boss?
I am fine, thanks. How is it with you?
I'm okay. Before I get to my point, you mentioned something about Taspen Cemetery. Yeah, I did my father buried. And when my mother died, and after the funeral, I take a walk out there. The grave them in a deplorable state, Mr. Malcolm. They broke up. They look like they must store rubbish in the cemetery and thing. What the government do about that?
Well, you just need to see one cemetery to sum up most of the cemeteries. If Maypen Cemetery has looked the way it looks, and has looked for all these years, for all these decades, what else do we expect? If in other words, that has transmitted a signal to say to the rest of us, this is our standard. Maypen Cemetery.
Yeah, but when me was a little boy growing up, and they say people who get sentenced and hard labor, they used to be the one who they try to clean up the cemetery. They don't do that no more.
I've seen some light work being done within the last few months. Within sometime last year, I did see them out there cleaning up and 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 uh, and doing whatever other menial tasks they were subjected to doing.
But the state I see that cemetery in the one that I spend there. It look like a one time I hear them clean it now.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. What we are transmitting to the world is that this is how we keep our cemeteries. You only need to look at one. Mind you, for what it's worth, there are, and I don't know if the difference is cost, but there are very well established cemeteries that are in order and aesthetically pleasing. But for the
because Dovecat and the other one there, they're in excellent shape. Is it because the private people own them?
Maybe Dovecat, Meadowrest. There are some more. There's one linked to a church. It's not so bad. That's on the Old Harbour Road. Is that Thetford? I think Thetford.
So the minister of local government, I think he's the man who's supposed to be in charge of those cemetery, right?
I think you're right that those affairs would fall under the Ministry of Local Government. Yes.
So nobody point out to him say, listen, boss, we can't keep the cemetery like this.
Well, he will tell you, and no doubt he will chronicle for you all the amount of money that has been spent over the years to try and maintain a level of decorum and decency at Maypen Cemetery.
No, it's a prisoner's job, that, you know. The man must sit there and hard labor, that is their job. The water should take them out there and make sure they get the place trim up.
And they have done some work, but over the years, it's usually an allocation of funds. You hear an announcement that is made, and then you see people over there chopping. And then some time will pass.
Instead of paying people to do it, why they don't make the prisoner do it?
Well, as I said, I've seen them within last year, as recently as within last year. I've seen them. I've seen the prisoners at work.
Yeah, but what I see there, it's got to do a sloppy job there.
Well, if that is what you see when you visit the area, the authorities having cleaned it up supposedly, then you could draw the conclusion that you just did.
And them said it closed. One time them say it closed down and the gate them.
Well, I think there was a time there, and I'm not sure the extent to which that still holds, when there was an announcement or some report that the cemetery was not taking any more burials.
So then why they had to get them open and the grill them rotten down and that?
Well, the gates would remain open because there are still people who brave the conditions to pay their respects to their loved ones, perhaps on the anniversary of their birth, burial, and so on.
Okay. All right, let's switch gear a little bit. Before I call you, I talked to my great-great-great-grandfather and him tell me, say, it look like we are go back in some racist thing in Jamaica because he made people accuse people, say they should go back to England and who don't ban it and who don't ban it. We reach that stage again now?
No, we've always been here. We haven't left, actually. It's just different iterations of that kind of behavior. In other words, it's in our DNA. It's part of our heritage. It's part of our culture. It's part of the lexicon. And it will come out. Whatever is inside of us is going to come out at some point or another, whether good or bad or indifferent. So it's just waiting on something to bring it out. A trigger. All it needs is a trigger. One moment, please.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, in association with Winchester MRI, Immune Active Deck, and Almighty Studios present Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for persons overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson and host Alicia Taylor airs every Friday at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now, right here on Power 106 FM.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you come.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, please.
Some leader or a minister feel that because he born here, he can do a better job than the man who don't born here. I don't know what I'm thinking. Because I remember years ago in our election campaign, your man tell
yeah, but I don't know where you get this thing from about who born here from who didn't born here. Both the prime minister and the leader of the opposition are Jamaicans.
Yeah, gotta say that because I hear some accusation about master or something like that, and the talk shows some people are saying that the opposite. I don't know what truth is, so you're gonna guide me right there. Some people saying that Mr. Golden parents born here, but he didn't born here. What is that?
As far as I know, Mr. Golding is Jamaican.
Born in Jamaica.
As far as I know, Mr. Golding is Jamaican.
Yeah, and people start you, because I remember when that same thing was passed to Mr. Siaga, that the people don't want no white man.
But it's the same thing that we said, was it yesterday or the day before, that we made the point that we have a culture of demonization in Jamaica. It's a culture of demonization. Former Prime Minister Michael Manley, as much as there are those who to this day still revere him, he was also demonized. He has been demonized at different points in the political history of this country. Edward Siaga has been demonized over the years. Bruce Golding has been demonized. Portia Simpson Miller has been demonized. As it is now, we have seen where both Mark Golding and Andrew Holness have also been demonized. So it's an attempt at uglification of these individuals that has happened over the years to try and create or otherwise institutionalize what the general consensus in the public sphere in Jamaica is about these individuals. So there are those who have been, as we say in Jamaican parlance, carding certain people in Jamaica as to what they are, etc., etc. And over time, if it suits some people to carry their fool a little further, then they do that. Or better yet, if it is that they need to propagandize at different points to try to help to make their point as to who is evil, who is the devil, who is Massa, etc., they're going to do it because it's the nature of the partisan politics here in Jamaica.
Well, my thing is, Mr. Malcolm, the people who demonize these people, if you put those people that in the position, they can manage it neither.
Well, it's always easier said than done when those of us engage in discussions, but we're free to hold public discourse. But when in the final analysis, whomever has been elected or selected to lead has to do just that, lead. And the architecture of our system of governance is supposed to serve us in such a way that where there are failures, where there are flaws, where there are questionable circumstances surrounding leadership, action has to be taken if we want to be taken seriously as a democracy. Other than as opposed to some of the buck-ups and the fall downs, and some really bizarre situations that in recent times that we have heard of, about who was to be charged and who, oh no, not to be charged, because this was that kind of chaotic situation doesn't do our democracy any good.
Yeah, kind of, well, in that case, I can understand if an offense is committed and people expect result and they don't get, they will say. But for people to tell people that because you're a white man or you know born here, that they should have a laugh at that and cause hate crime, and then they will stand for that practice.
Yeah, it's called majoring in the minor. That's really what it is. And if you have nothing to say really, then what you say will amount to nothing, and it will become evident of the emptiness from which those sounds have come.
No, but what I'm saying, when they make those saying, you have law and a book to stop them from saying it.
If we did, then those would be enforced.
So simply we don't have no law for that then.
I'm not aware of such a law or such laws.
So or we can stop them from doing it.
It's not a criminal it's not a criminal offense, and if the only opportunity to take any action is if you feel that you have been libeled or slandered or otherwise defamed, then you have to take action and make it count.
Yeah, but
other than that, it's just people running their mouth and failing to recognize that when you occupy certain positions, you give up freedom of speech. You're not free to just say anything that comes to your mouth. I would love to say some things. I mean, I don't use curse words, but I would love to be able to say some things on air. But if it's not proper, then I'm not going to say it on air because of the position that I am in. I would be calling my position into disrepute. So these sensitive areas, when you are supposed to be the gatekeeper, so to speak, in terms of not ferreting, but in terms of sifting through some of the expressions that come through the pipeline, that we either stop them before they get to us, or if they get to us, then we hit the button that would prevent it from going on air, because we have a duty of care in the work that we do.
Yeah, but for like public official, like politician keep saying this thing over and over. I think the button, the vampires you cannot do anything about the button because nobody's stopping them.
Well, at this stage, there's nothing to stop them from running their mouths.
Yeah, but if they will be penalized for saying it, they won't say it.
Well, it hasn't made a difference in the parliament now, has it? First of all, they have immunity in parliament, and they can virtually say anything. Now, if you give, that's like giving a baby. I don't want to use that analogy, but let's move on. Yeah, it's they 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 already are accustomed to a level of immunity, and perhaps sometimes they forget that they still have a responsibility to be mindful of what they say before they say it.
In the keyword they use, you said they have some immunity that means they can't do anything. So they're using that opportunity to do what they feel like and don't care who's feeling their hurt. So they need to take away that from them and make them know, say, listen, boss, if you said that, this will happen.
That's not going to happen. They're not going to take away from themselves that which they have been enjoying.
So only the public they will punish, they won't punish themselves.
I don't know about punishing the public. Who's punishing the public?
No, but if we, the public, say certain things, they have laws in place to put you under pressure and then have laws in place for themselves.
Well, the law will kick in if you breach the law.
Okay, what's that? You're loud and clear. Before I go, you still don't hear from Rascava yet?
No.
Well, it look like you're on a long vacation.
Apparently.
All right, boss. Take it easy, man. I got work, I know, man.
All right, be safe. Take care.
All right.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. I wish for you a blessed weekend. Same to you, Velta Wilson. Jeannie Chambers says, good afternoon, teacher. To you too, Jeannie Chambers. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Have a great weekend. And you do likewise, Cherry Henry. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, good afternoon, Dervan, Malcolm, and thank God for life, and shout out to all the listeners from across the world. Thank you very much for your messages. Let's clear some more of the messages coming in. This one, Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. Good afternoon to you. Crocs in Black River says, greetings. It is obvious to me that one of the main reasons for the slide in the Prime Minister's popularity is the perception concerning his integrity. The Integrity Commission, which is the body tasked with the oversight of that integrity, is now under deadly attack, with the chairman claiming to have received death threats. Now, do this very simple arithmetic. 1 + 1 = 2 from Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much, Crocs in Black River, for your message. Here's another. Dervan, how can the diaspora get a seat in the upper house? I heard an advocate from your station coming out against such a seat. What do you say as a person who plays such a great part with our diasporans? Put it to the people. Let the people decide. That's what I would say. Let the people decide. We also need to get our diasporans to vote in our elections. Well, it's a good time to raise all of these points when we are in the process of engaging in constitutional reform, actual constitutional reform, real constitutional reform. At least so we have been told. So now would be a good time to put forward all these positions, ask all these questions, and let the chips fall where they may. I'm not a fan of cliches, but that one just got away.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Hello?
Mommy, it's who I ticket.
Hush, child. We don't want them see we.
But mommy, is the census takers?
Me not tell them my business. But, Mommy, they need information about all the households to help make decisions about where to put things like clinics, stores, and new roads. Also, come, Mommy. You count, me count, all our count.
Data collection for the census continues. Soon, a census taker will be coming to you. Look out for them and let them know you count. Join us for 5 exhilarating days of the most anticipated high school track and field sporting event, the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship, and it's live on OneSpotMedia.com pay-per-view March 28 to April 1. Purchase your regular season pass for only US $37.99, or the day passes, days 1, 2, and 3 for US $12.99 each. Day 4, $17.99 US, and day 5, $23.99 US. Simply log into OneSpotMedia.com, select the pay-per-view tab, and buy your ticket. You may also download the One Spot Media app and watch on the go. Purchase your pay-per-view ticket today.
Walk away, but his smile never dipped its head. I'm gonna be like him, yeah, you know.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Horror 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And to finish reading the message we started going through before the break, let's pick it up at these days. Technology has brought us so close, unlike the old days. When a person leaves our shores, we don't see them until they return. The diasporans are contributing so much to Jamaica without a voice. Patrick Howell. Well, Patrick, those of us who have been working in the diaspora for some time now would never take certain positions. Naturally, would listen to everybody. And as we said, let's put it to a vote. And since this is the season of constitutional reform, now is the time for all those who are for and against decisions pertinent to members of the diaspora. Go ahead, make your case, put forward your position, and let's see if you get a majority support or otherwise. And you keep plugging away and see if anything changes on account of the level of advocacy that is applied. But members of the diaspora have and continue to play their part, a very big part in the development of this country. We could have had instances of a total collapse of economic proportions. But the support of the Jamaican diaspora continues to hold sway in Jamaica. And I'm not into the business of divide and rule or divisions or this set of people against that set of people. Those of us who live in Jamaica versus those of us in the diaspora. No, absolutely not. It must be Jamaicans at home joining hands with Jamaicans abroad to build a better Jamaica. That's it. We don't need the divisions. We have enough divisions. We don't need any more. Enough already. Let's move on. This one says, Dervan, why are you afraid to let the gentleman know that Mark Golding born and grew up in Jamaica? Miss Neville Solomon, why are you afraid Salah. All right. You seem to be obsessed with who is born here and who is not. So here's the thing. Since we just spoke about not fomenting any further divisions in this country, we're not going to read the rest of your message, Salah. We're going to move right along. Thank you very much. Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Why are we telling Mr. Clark to apologize? He said that he said what he has in his head. Spider goes on to say, Mr. Malcolm, you think if we change Mapen Cemetery to Desmond Mackenzie's cemetery, you think he would accept it? Because remember, it is in his constituency. Well, he has a choice to accept or not to accept. And then again, what difference will that make? This one says, one of my frustrations with callers to talk show programs is the hypocrisy and double standards. Many of the callers denouncing the finance minister do so only because he's from a party they don't support. And many of those who defend him only do so because they support his party. To be fair to Clark, this is the first time that he has behaved this way in public. Mark Golding, on the other hand, has on several occasions acted less than gentlemanly. He refused to accede to the political ombudsman's order that he apologized to Robert Montague for calling him this little boy Montague, and he used homophobic language against a JLP St. Catherine MP and only apologized after being criticized. Nigel Clark's Massa comment was wrong and unseemly, but it was not racist. The essence of racism is claiming that another person of another group is inferior. Clark, on the contrary, was suggesting that Golding was acting as if he were superior, claiming that X person is acting superior is not racist. It was rude, not racist, says this message. Here's another one from GBO this time. Good afternoon, Dervan. I don't agree that a Jamaican living overseas should be sitting in our parliament nor giving or dictating to us, which is fine, as we have said. Now is the time to put forward your position on these matters. I bet you that most Jamaicans living overseas are not paying taxes. Now, how would you jump GBO? How do you get to that point? How do you get to that point? You bet that most Jamaicans living overseas. Oh boy. All right, GBO, we won't finish that message. Let's move on. And Crocs in Black River is back. He says, Dervan, I think someone should remind Dr. Nigel Clark that Dr. Peter Phillips was bright enough to take the economy of the country to the point where he can now build on it. And someone should tell him about the brightness of people such as Dr. Trevor Monroe and Dr. Stephen Vassiani, who ached a lot at a very young age. Maybe that would instill in him the lacking characteristic of humility. From Crocs in Black River. Yes, there's a song that says it's hard to be humble, and it is true. It is true. Nothing is wrong with being proud, as in exuding pride, pride in having done something worthwhile, something good, etc. But when that extends to backslapping, it might be considered too much. and it might spoil whatever goodwill may or may not have existed before. So let's what did I miss now, Crocs? About Archie. Maybe that would instill. Oh, achieved. I was wondering what that was. But I was thinking perhaps you found a new word somewhere. Anyway, so what you really wanted to say was right. So, and someone should tell him about the brightness of people such as Dr. Trevor Monroe and Dr. Stephen Vassiani, who achieved a lot at a very young age. Maybe that would instill in him the lacking characteristic of humility from Crocs in Black River. Thank you very much for your message, Crocs in Black River. Here's a message on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Mr. Malcolm, can you say what happened to the man? Greetings and peace profound. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know. The question came up some years ago, and I can't remember what was the response. I can't remember what the response was. And you're asking me again. I've responded already, but you're asking again, what has happened to Mr. Roper, Garnet Roper? I don't have any information other than I heard that he was now living in another country. I don't know if that is true, and I haven't heard anything about him before your string of messages asking about him. Wherever in the world he is, we wish him well. And to the other reference you made, greetings and peace profound, I couldn't tell you where in the world he is or ended up, etc., etc. This one says, Sir Dervan, good afternoon. The theatrical performance by Nigel Clark, the Minister of Finance, was, in my opinion, coordinated and choreographed by a myopic-minded group of Republican wannabes. It appears to have been produced and directed. No, I'm not going to read that part of the message because I have no such evidence. So I'm going to move to the next line. Some of us have seen the likes of this dog and pony show by the Republicans in the US Congress before, who after their clown show run to Fox News, and I'm not going to read what you have in bracket, audience to take a bow. Clark and his minions get an F for originality and an S for shameful. Instead of meeting the needs of the people, they're focusing on theatrics. How much longer will this continue? That's a message from LL Richie Rich from Florida. Here is another. Oh, Crocs is telling us, oh dear, I'm terribly sorry to hear that. Crocs is telling us that Dr. Roper suffered a stroke, but he's still here in Jamaica. We're terribly sorry to hear about that. Terribly sorry to hear about that. Best wishes for a safe recovery, Dr. Roper. So sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. Let's continue with more here on your, oops, look at the time. We have to break for the regular Friday afternoon feature. And after that, we have a series of interviews stroke discussions coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. And so that's what's coming up next. Ricardo still conveying Sabbath greetings. Thank you for the message. And there's more coming up. This one says, where did the message go? Let's do this. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I think people are doing a justice service to Dr. Peter Phillips when they talk about his recovery Jamaican economy. If it was not for the IMF and the strict guidelines given, we would never reach anywhere, says Richard. Well, the thing, Richard, is when you are in a position where you have stewardship of a department, ministry, agency, organization, company, institution, etc., and you have stewardship for a certain period of time, whatever happens during that period of time, whether good or bad, must be hugged up, necessarily hugged up. It's usually the case by the holder of that office. So if something good happens for the period of time that you are the minister, for the period of time that you are the general manager or managing director or CEO or president, whatever happens during your stewardship is going to be taken as having been influenced, whether directly or indirectly, by the office holder. It's inescapable. So even if the office holder had nothing to do with the outcome or very little to do with the outcome, by virtue of being the office holder at a time when something good, very good, or excellent happens, the office holder will take credit. It's just a fact of life. That's just the way it is, as the song says.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs-controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:33 on Power 106.
On your marks. Set.
The It's a Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship.
Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM.
Oh, okay.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Oh,
side story. Stories from Jamaica and across the world.
All right, ready when you are.
Issues of the day and more.
Ready when you are.
Sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Learn interesting facts and trivia. Participate in lively discussions on affairs locally and internationally. Hear the stories of business, philanthropy, and more from Jamaicans at home and abroad on both sides of the story. Come tell your side of the story. Both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on a mission to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Weekdays 2 to 5 p.m. live on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Kermit is telling us, and I think we have actually had this information before, except that because it was so long ago, I don't remember what became of Greetings and Peace Profound, the caller who used to start every conversation in calling into talk shows by saying greetings and peace profound. So Kermit is telling us that the greetings and peace profound gentleman died a little while now. Now that's what I remembered, but I didn't want to voice it because I've been super careful ever since that situation on radio where an announcer on air essentially pronounced someone as being deceased when in fact the person was alive and well. So yeah, so we're usually very careful when it comes on to those things. But thank you, Kermit. Thank you very much for sharing that information with us. Perhaps the caller who has been I don't want to say elbowing us, but essentially just trying to find out what is happening or what has happened to that individual. Keep those comments coming in, 876-922-4112-5. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can also call us on WhatsApp. That number, once again, 876-922, no, I beg your pardon, the WhatsApp number we're giving you, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Here's a message. Is Clark arrogant? I don't know. He has never bragged in public about his academic qualifications. The Gleaner cartoonist recently had a cartoon where Clark supposedly said, "My way or the highway." But in his comments on the public sector workers, his language has always seemed polite to me. So I don't know what people mean by his arrogance. And every finance minister doing a budget presentation injects some amount of theater in their performance. I hear people criticizing Clark for spending time in his budget refuting or criticizing Mr. Golding and Mr. Julian Robinson, but that's why they call it a budget debate. The finance minister, whether Dr. Omar Davies or Dr. Clark, closes the budget by seeking to respond and rebut the presentation of the opposition. The finance minister is not a central banker, and so his audience is different. The central banker doesn't have to run for office. The finance minister has to combine both the role of a technocrat and the role of politician. But I remain puzzled by the claim that Clark is arrogant, says this messenger. Thank you. And Salah is trying to make a comeback. What is he saying now? And there he goes. because I didn't use that word, Salah. I choose my words carefully. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see if there's anything in his message that relates to what I actually said. So Salah says, I said that you need were to educate the gentleman. Ouch. I said that you need were to educate the gentleman. The reason why people will ask questions is because they don't know. Don't know why you having sweeted palms over something that you should be doing. Anyway, Dervan, the word is still love. Salah from Kings. I have no idea what you're talking about, Salah. Everything that you have said is foreign to me. Thank you for your message nonetheless. The point that we always make. Yes, we get messages that are sent to us from people all over the world. But we are regarded as gatekeepers in the position in which we sit as host or presenter. We have to be we are the gatekeepers. So we can't just read word for word everything that you have put in your message to us, especially if elements within that message would bring this program, this station, etc., into disrepute. So we still have to manage the flow of information. We still have to manage the flow. There are some people who are clever enough to word their messages in such a way that you get it, but it's not vulgar or openly dishonest or blatantly spouting lies, etc., insofar as we are able to verify whether something is true or false. We have to do it. It's the nature of the job. We have to be the gatekeepers. But thank you for your messages. Thank you. It's not that we don't appreciate you and your messages, but we also want to ensure there's a level of decorum. Because just as how a lot of our callers, and I like to call them sometimes messengers, a lot of our callers and messengers find themselves in a situation where I don't want to. Let's leave that there for now. Let's leave that there for now. Winston, otherwise known as Errol in Maryland, says, "Good afternoon, Sir D. Just a rainy weekend in the DMV. The D for Washington, D.C., the M for Maryland, the V for Virginia." So, Errol in Maryland, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good to have you on board. Welcome. And let's see who else is messaging us. Keep them coming in. David Crossburn is calling. Not sure if his call came in before the call. This is what, just 8 seconds? Oh, the one that you have across the board is before. All right, let's take the break and come back.
For any project, ABC Electrical Sales has all your electrical supplies at the best prices. 8 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 754-3714. The time by ABC Electrical Sales is
3:45.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's see, Galloway Kevin says, peace to this house. Welcome, saints of Christ, to the Son of God and coming one Messiah and messenger of Almighty God concerning the most holy, as it is written. Thank you, Galloway Kevin, for your message. Here is another. B. Jew in New York says, hello, Dervan. Hope you are doing good. I'm fine, thanks. And you? And I think we have covered those. Right, so let's go with the caller, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, my radio professor.
Good afternoon.
Today is International Bank Day.
Uh-huh.
And most of the big banks around the world, they are having some serious meetings about the bank runs that are taking place across the globe. And they are also worried about the breaking of the automated banking machines all over the world. And they are contemplating that they have to fast track the digital economy and the cashless society. Mr. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between a politician and a freedom fighter?
Well, they both actually put themselves forward as defenders of the people. They generally take a populist position, and so they will tell you that they are both defending the people, whether they are politicians or freedom fighters. That's exactly. Yes.
You ever have any politician that died for the people? Like how Paul Bogle died for the people.
I mean, I'm sure we can find those in history, whether here in Jamaica or elsewhere. Yes, there are those who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
There's only one politician that died for the people in Jamaica.
Who's that?
His name was George William Gordon.
I would rather die on your. What's what he said? Was he the one who said it?
No, Sam Sharp.
Sam Sharp was the one who said, "I would rather die on your."
He was there. His mother was a slave, and his father was a slave owner.
Yes.
And he ended up owning most of the property in Cherry Garden.
Yes, and that great house that is still there. That's
I
a,
visited that great house the other day, and it's a shame to see the great house of George William God.
really?
Full
I
of
guess maybe
rubbish.
because I passed it, drove past it instead of stopping and scrutinizing the property, but it seemed to have still been intact.
Yes, it's intact, but it's derelict.
Oh,
It needs fixing. And listen, one of the reasons why they didn't like him was because he was selling the prime lands of Cherry Gardens to black people.
oh,
And
really?
he was a good friend of Paul Bogle in St.
Oh, that much I know. Yes.
He was a minister in Parliament, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Malcolm, talking about Dr. Clark. Dr. Clark is a doctor of mathematics, okay? Did you know when you study mathematics, you can predict certain outcomes? Like I can give you a maths problem right there, you in the studio now, and I can tell you the answer. And you would acknowledge to the people that it's the same answer you get. They know what they're doing in terms of their budget, so the cost it and how the money must go around and come back around to them. You know that, Mr. Malcolm?
I would imagine that if you are taken up with that subject, that you require a level of thoughtfulness and mindfulness.
Mr. Malcolm,
Yes.
I studied accounts, you see. Prince of account, I'm a student of accounts right now.
Yes.
Right now I'm doing a 6-week course in computers, some computer software in order to do some work for a man because the technology is changing so fast.
Oh, Lord, it is.
That I have to
Yes.
keep up with it, and it's going to cost me 31,000 for six weeks. But I have to do it. You want me to test you with a math, Mr. Malcolm, and show you what I tell the people then?
I don't know if you want to do that. Why would you want to embarrass me like that?
No, I just want, no, you ever do the calculations in your head, and me ever tell you the answer, and me show you how Mr. Clark them read the economy. Bear with me, people. I wouldn't embarrass you, my professor. I just want you to help the people and to understand something. Please, think of a number, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
Double the number that you think of.
Yes.
Double it.
Yes.
Add 10 to it.
Yes.
The answer that you get divided by 2.
Let's see. Mm-hmm.
You divide the answer by 2.
Yes.
Take away the number that you think of first from the answer that you get.
Yes.
You want me to tell you the answer that you get?
What's the answer?
5.
You are perfectly correct.
May I tell you what them do the people of Jamaica? Me name never called that. Hey, you know it's where I grow? I grow in Pierre Garrison in Jamaica. Pierre Garrison. Arnett Garden are the biggest garrison in growing up. And you see when I go in Arnett Garden, I go live. A Pierre gunman I go over there for seeing his scheme. And I ask my father, say, oh, you carry so much boy picking over here and your wife, you know, so much gunman. I hear my father tell me. He said, never. It's not where you live, it's how you live. And I got Jamaica College out of Arnett Garden and no gunman no trouble me. And gunshot of fire from me live in a jungle from 1977 to last night. How much hear that, Mr. Malcolm?
I'm sorry, I was still trying to figure out how you work out that math.
Well, I'll tell you what they do to the economy.
Yes.
All right, you see, let's say the minimum wage of them raising at the parliament and everybody not bench the 13,000, right?
Yes.
That 13,000 is causing a lot of havoc, hostility, and dislocation in places like Arfetry as we speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the businesses in Arfetry, not in that, because they're not cutting their bottom line to satisfy their car loans and their lifestyle and the lifestyle that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet, when you're going there, they have to pay over the GCT to the government. Because the general consumption tax, the tax that you and I pay to eat, drink, and wear, that charge a lot of interest when the government ready for that money. It's not the business money, they have to pay it over. If not, the government can seize the asset and take away the asset. But you see the NHT and the NIS and the head tax for the workers, most of those workers that you see working in the cash pot, in the wholesales, in the bars, in Africa, etc., they're not taking home any pay slip. And there's no Minister of Labour defending those workers. And when them get old brown here, then them give them one handout to them called social pension, $3,400 a month, and buy them out. Country can run, sir. Because it is not the GCP the government wants to put in the consolidated fund. Because the NIS is not his money, and the NHT is not the government money. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is what they're doing with the mathematics, because they believe that certain businesses around here are too big to fail. So they are protecting the investment of the rich and the famous rather than looking out for the interest of the old man and old woman in the communities. And you know why they do it, Mr. Malcolm?
Why?
Because their philosophy is based on what? On Matthew 25, verse 29. That the rich must be richer and the poor must be poorer. Mm-hmm. And it is better for the rich to have the money than an old grandmother to get her fair share, because all she's going to do is consume the money and defecate it out. You know that?
Yeah.
Mr. Malcolm, never ask you another question.
Yes.
On none of your conversation that we talk on this program, even though this is serious and fundamental to social fabric of Jamaica, or it don't make the 5 o'clock move?
Maybe because it is not considered newsworthy.
Oh, you went to news school. What is news, Mr. Malcolm?
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't went to news school?
No, I applied to the Caribbean, what's it called? Caribbean Institute of Media and Communication, or at the time it was mass communication. So I had to sit the CARIMAC test, where they ask you questions like which Caribbean island has 365 beaches, one for every day of the year, and which batsman scored the highest number of runs, blah, 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 etc. And at the time, they had limited space. And so the bar was very high. So that long and short of it, they said I didn't pass the CARIMAC test. And so I had to choose another subject, another area. And so I chose French. So I have a degree in French, did a reading course in Spanish, still learning Mandarin, Chinese.
But in your media...
And I'll just finish the story quickly. And the long and short of it is that years after, I was invited to be a guest lecturer at CARIMAC. A member of staff was on leave, and I taught at CARIMAC for a little while. And
well, you teach at CARIMAC, the place you teach news.
Communication, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You end up and teach them.
Yeah. Even though I didn't pass the CARIMAC test in order to attend CARIMAC.
It's a welcome.
Yes.
It's a welcome. In your circles, when you hear them talk, what you pick up as news? What is news? Tell the people.
News is that which is considered to be worthy of one's attention.
Oh, and certain news sell and certain don't sell.
That's right. So I
never hear a news how much baby born at the hospital in the morning. I never hear that news, but I never hear how much get gunshot.
Well, I remember doing a broadcast from Line In, as it used to be called. Line In. Me too.
Hallelujah.
So I did a broadcast from there, and I learned at the time, and it was such a long time that I don't remember the figure, but some thousands. I don't remember if it was thousands, I think. But yeah.
And we don't talk about who bad. We don't fill up the people that we do are dead.
Yes.
Well, listen, never give these 2 suggestions to the people. You see, as of April 1, when they raise the minimum wage, if you're working on an establishment like Cash Pot, there's so much money are running at that department.
Hold on. Let's keep the suspense a while because we need to take a break.
Silver spoon, little boy blue, and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't
At
know.
Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for The NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's The NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
We'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
Thanks for holding. Please continue.
You work in any of these establishments, anytime you're collecting your pay, your salary with them pay you, no matter what they pay you. Make sure that they give you a pay slip, and your pay slip must show your gross salary, your TRN number, your NIS number, and the 6% that need to come out of the system for your NIS, the 5% for your NHT, and the 8.5% for your head tax. And it must be paid over to the NIS, the NHT, and the education taxpayers. And every month you must go up on the NIS to check if them pay over your money. Because look here, Mr. Malcolm, you see the cashless economy that they're planning to bring? You notice they never said nothing about the needs in the budget? Huh?
No, not a word. I didn't hear anything about it.
You see, this government and the opposition that is in the house, they are fretting on their overseas investment because all the stock markets in Europe heading south because the BRICS are coming. The BRICS is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, Saudi Arabia, Iran joined the BRICS now. Syria is 40 countries it gone to. How much countries in the world, Mr. Malcolm?
About 192 plus.
Me tell you, say you're bright, you know, Mr. Malcolm. And you see the 40 countries that make up the BRICS, them have more than half the world population, yeah? And Vladimir Putin tell Biden that they don't need America to be the world boss anymore. So America going to find it back against the wall. The million of people in America, left, right, and center.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be surprised it shouldn't be surprising that Mr. Putin has, well, it's been a while now since he has elevated himself to rulership position, and it's because nature abhors a vacuum.
Did you know that Vladimir Putin was a taxi driver when the Berlin Wall, after the Berlin Wall came down, and East Germany joined up with West Germany? Putin was working for Russia in the embassy, the Russian embassy in Germany at the time, and he lost his work and started getting no salary, and he became a taxi driver for 1 year to feed his family. And now he's said to be the richest man in the world. And guess what happened to them now? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
He's now the most wanted man in the world.
Yes.
And them can't touch him.
No.
Why them can't touch him, my professor? Tell the people.
Well, if they do, they might very well get a nuclear reaction.
Mr. Malcolm, you know that when you leave you with this and leave the people with this. You see, when you check revolution in the world, like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Cuban Revolution, etc., all of these countries that fight revolution for constitutional change, right now they're fighting back for more constitutional change again. You know? because they realize that what is going to come in the digital world and the cashless society. See, them constitution can run that again. You know. What do you think would stop these people from putting back Jamaican black people into slavery? Tell me. What would stop them? Based on what you see, the shenanigans that you see them going on within Parliament. What will stop them? Because this time them have the police force and the army. You know? You see anything to stop them?
Mm-hmm. No, man.
Mr. Malcolm,
Yes.
the only way you can pressure the system is the people. Make sure, say, when you work for people, then pay over your statutories to the government that if any disaster come through climate change or whatever change, them have changed in the Western economy, you have a SO1 form to show the government, say, means a taxpayer in your country, you know, I mean, put you up every thief no money and tell me the lie, you know, you have to compensate me till me dead. Because at the end of the day, all of the parliamentarians, them, the minimum pension in parliament, for all of them parliament, the minimum one is 300,000 a month till them dead. And then, you know, so in the next budget, Nigel Clark promised them to give all of them an increase in salary.
Hmm.
And who them are come to for them money the 2024? We? Mr. Malcolm, have a good weekend, my professor, and get some rest.
Will do. Thank you for the call.
And next time we tell you some more mathematical calculation that them using with them brain to trick people. Because me and them got it cool, you know.
Yes.
But me live simple. Me don't want a big living, because it's not where you live, my father said.
It's how you live.
It's how you live.
That's right.
Take care, my prophet.
You too. Bye-bye. Hold the line. Hold the line, please, though. We lost him. Sir Neville, please call us back. We have a number, a name and a number for you. So please call us back if you're still listening. Please call us back so we can pass on a name and a number to you. Please call back. Thank you. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Don't know who Errol is referring to here, Errol from Maryland, but he says, what is a fair share? Everyone gets the choice to go to school and learn. So if you want to be poor, it's on you. Let's stop blaming the government for your problem, says Errol in Maryland. Thank you very much. Not sure who it is meant for, but thank you for your message. All the very best. And here is Steve out of Toronto, Canada. Or hold on. I'm sorry, Steve. Sorry, just hang on a while longer. As in, hang up, please, because David Crosburn was actually ahead of you. My mistake. All right. Sorry about that. Right. So let's go to David Crosburn now. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sir Dervan, to you and all your listeners. Hello?
Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yes, just to follow up on what Neville was saying just before I continue. It's very important, the point he made about the NIS, and not only to see that it is being deducted, but the responsibility to check at the end of the year that the number of deduction is paid over is so important. A lot of persons, particularly those who work in the sugar industry, have been shafted by this. I have met a secretary and she was 18 of her 30 years was not paid over. And it is such a jaw-dropping situation with her. It's abominable. And in those persons who I interact with, a lot of persons, the amount of NIS deduction that, because they didn't check with the NIS at the end of the year to double check that what they had on their payslip was collected was not paid over to them. That has been the experience.
Well, whoever needs to get that information and act upon it, we hope that that process has started.
Yeah, even my own self, I left before I reached retirement, and at least 6 years of mine was not paid over. But nevertheless, another point that he made with William Gordon, as I mentioned before, William Gordon became a millionaire at age 25. When he left Cherry Gardens, he went to live in St. Elizabeth with his uncle, and his uncle was a produce dealer, and there he built up a large stocks of money. It was so he went now to buy a property out in St. Thomas. I don't really want to go back in that, but he has a flaw to me, because when you check it, the manumission that the ex-slaves were paying, his charge was higher than the rest of the estates. Nevertheless, his Scottish connection made a good representation in Jamaica, and he fought hard. Apart from that, that was why he was so endeared to Paul Bogle. And if you read the background properly, he wasn't to have gone to be tried in St. Thomas, but because the governor here was thoroughly against maybe his denomination, and he wanted to ensure that he hung, he took him on the ship and tried him out in St. Thomas, which was wrong because he was living in Kingston, but he wanted to ensure that he went to the gallows. So he tried him over there. But that's a part of it. But the main point I wanted to take up with you today is something I heard this morning on the radio.
Hello? Internet problems?
And they're looking.
Hello?
I don't know if you are aware of that matter.
No, we missed a bit of what you were saying. Hello? We missed a bit of what you were saying. We were seeing the word reconnecting on the screen, and we weren't hearing you.
Okay. I was speaking about a matter with a World War II soldier that they are seeking to make connection.
Oh yes, in Jamaica. I've actually planned to have a segment tomorrow morning on the Jamaican Diaspora Live online, just to go through the story of this Jamaican war veteran. Mm-hmm.
Dervan, repeatedly, that's why I connected and resonate so much with you now. Because I realize that it's a tremendous amount of work we have to do as a country unnecessarily. I tell you this, any Jamaican you want to find anything about, from going back as far as in the 1700s, all of that information on any family in Jamaica is in New York at the Mormons, I would say the library or whatever office they have there. The Mormons come and capture all of that information here. And I'm speaking because personally, my mom who died, and I did not know, my mom died 6 months after I was born, and I couldn't get any detailed information. And it's up in New York at the Mormons. I was able to find out exactly where she died, when she died, what was the autopsy, etc., etc. They have all that up there. And yet, we sit on our hands and our ex-soldiers, we don't have anything here that Bam Bam we could find
Sorry,
out
one
their
moment.
connections and so.
One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. The College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, continues to play its part in revolutionizing Jamaica's productive and education sectors for the demands of the 21st century. Learn more about CASE's philosophy, programs, and services in a special feature during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. on Power 106 FM. This feature is brought to you by the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, Casley Gardens, Portland. That's a special feature showcasing the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, every second Monday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy to the man on the phone.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在 TDN 了4 DN 10 liao fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? And have you done your homework yet, young people? Yes. Good afternoon to all the students listening to us, all the schoolers from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Yes, Mr. Crossburn.
Yeah, you will recall the other day we were speaking about the tree planting and one for each citizen.
Yes.
I think we should take it to the next level, upscale that, and each citizen, each Jamaican, here and abroad, they're attached to that particular tree. It's not far-fetched. Some years ago, like about in 2004, I had the opportunity of going to Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi. And there's a huge fanfare for 2 trees that they planted for in honor of one of the mission person who went and at the experiment station up in space, and they germinated that particular seed up there and took it back to Biloxi, Mississippi. It's Biloxi is on the Gulf Port. It's a base, like airport, one of the bases in the US base in Mississippi, and they planted the tree in his honor. And it's a huge benefit to the area and inspiration. And the thing about trees that we other people don't appreciate, it's extremely beneficial, and it's a developmental tool that can bring cultural changes to our country. Many of us are saying, boy, the country wants a change around. But these are some of the things that can be done without any great amount of expenditure to bring the necessary changes to the Jamaica and make Jamaica the place that we all want it to be.
Well put.
What's your thought?
Yes, why not?
Oh, okay. Well, all the best then, and continue to your hard work, and we continue to build your listenership. And as Neville had pointed out, and appeal to listeners that they support you on the
YouTube.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But before you go, I have been long still, but I just clock. Guyana, there's something on YouTube I'd like for you to read about the developments in Guyana. Oh, they are moving by leaps and bounds. And my pain is that I don't want for us to be get locked out of it. The way we are going about it, we need to improve upon it, or the way we are going.
Yes.
Because I think we should have a direct working group in Jamaica to add luster to the Jamaica, Guyana developmental opportunities.
Yes.
I just tell you, you can Google David Crosby and letters to the editor and to you on your listings and see a letter that I've written making an appeal about the Guyana Jamaica relationships. And listeners can give a thought on it. And we all pull together and see what can be done to improve and build upon the opportunities that are beginning in Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
All the very best, and thanks for your listening here.
Thanks for calling. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Steve in Toronto, Canada. Now would be a good time. Let's see if we can get in your call, because you have been waiting for a while. And I know that Guardian Angel has been calling but not getting through. Not because we're not answering the phones, but because the lines are in use. And so that's what's been happening. So here is Steve, and what an auspicious occasion on which to speak with Steve on air. Steve McDonald from Lennox Bigwoods, from Savannah Lamar, and from Mannings. And on a day like today, when on this day in 1966, Mannings High School won the two-day secondary schools girls track and field championships at the National Stadium. Second was Titchfield High School, and third, Excelsior. Defending champions Ardennes placed ninth. 10 records were broken, including the high jump class 3 won by Leslie Cameron, who cleared 5 feet 3 inches, the second best jump in Jamaica. The Jamaica record was 5 feet 3 and 5/8 inches. So I could not have thought of a better introduction for you this afternoon, Steve McDonald.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the people of Westmoreland and Mannings are eternally grateful for you to remember us.
We try.
On a lighter note, I was actually yesterday even, when I went in and turned on my TV, I went on to TVJ. So I caught School Challenge Quiz. And I was like shouting, "Go Rabalak! Go Rabalak!"
Oh, that's very kind of you. That's very sportsmanlike.
Yes, sorry?
I'm saying very sportsmanlike.
Yes, I seen it, but man, I tell you, I had to get my pacemaker and my defibrillator, boy, because in the last round, because I was carrying Rabalak for my friend and shouting. Then by the time I turned and look, the score was Rabalak had lost. So I was like, what the heck? And then and then I turned around back, went and drank some water. They got some sugar and water to revive me. And then when I came and looked at the TV again, Rabalak had won. I was like, I could only remember, who was it, Admiral Bailey that said, "Science again?" So anyway, the congratulations on that. Well fought match. You guys did very well, and unfortunately, we lost our way. I think somewhere on Spur Tree Hill. When we were going to SCQ, School Challenge Quiz. So if you could quietly just send me the name of your science man, I would really appreciate it because I think that can help us. I just called to wish you a happy weekend and to say congratulations to your team. It was a very entertaining match and it was well fought.
Thank you very much, but we're holding the applause for the moment because, you know, it's a best of three final. So holding the applause at the moment.
You did listen, I don't know what tomorrow may bring, and I encourage, what is it, encouragement, sweetness, labor, or something like that.
Yes, yes.
Once you have done well, I mean, you have now what, the best of two, or is it one all?
It's, what's it? It's one all, is it? Or is it one love? I got the impression it was one love because they said.
Yeah, I got that impression too.
Yeah,
I think I got that impression too. So yeah. I mean, the guys did well. Obviously, it was a competitive match, and but they did well. And I mean, both teams did well.
Yes.
Bulmers, well, you know, you have to watch Bulmers because they stole our thing, right?
What did they do?
Well, they kind of quickly got in and registered their school before ours.
Oh.
So, and became the oldest school in Jamaica by, you know, just because they were closer to the registry office, to be honest. Because, you know, back then it took about 3 or 4 days to reach town.
Now you're taking a joke too far. Now you're taking a joke too far.
but hold on, it was before your time, so I will forgive you. But back then, spiritually, you had an era which was called man bump, right? And when the people, it actually took about 2 days to get to Kingston when the market people were going.
Oh, wow.
And I was told that when they reached man bump, or on spiritually, and especially that man bump, which was at the top, the people had to come off the truck, and then they had to start catching the truck as the truck was going up, because that part was so steep. I think probably about, when was it? It was about 1980 when you were born, or somewhere around there, 1990, that they redid Spurtree. And so it reduces significantly to what currently exists. Some of your older yes, well, I was going to say Angela, but Angela never usually go out for country. So Miss Stanley might know what Spurtree, but they probably never leave that side. They would go town, not come down our side. But people who are in country would know, man bump and all of that. Anyway, not to take away, congratulations. You guys did very well. And also congratulations to Wolmer's too. They fought a very spirited match, but as we know, Rabalak shall prevail if Mannings is not there. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the call, Steve. Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks.
Good. Take care. That's Steve McDonald of Lennox Big Woods, Savannah Lamar, and Mannings, the Mannings School, speaking with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Standing by for a scheduled interview. Quickly, before we get that going after the break, H. Morgan in Birmingham says, hello, Dervan. Well, from next week, we will be able to follow you on the program for long because our clock goes forward by an hour as we will need to retire to bed earlier, says H. Morgan in Birmingham. And let's see, as we get ready to throw to the break, Del Mignot says, good day, Mr. Dervan. Neville knows everything. Everyone else is wrong. He's always right. What is his solution? Should we bury ourselves? He is so depressing. Can he do what the government or the opposition does? To run a country is not easy, no matter the country. I believe this government is doing the best they can with the resources they have, says Del Mignot. Thank you, Del Mignot, for your message. And we see a few more, but we do have a scheduled interview coming up. Let's go to that after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Tune in to Farm Talk every second and third Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for the feature Hyper Food Independence. Hyper Food Independence will focus on solutions for farmers, such as land, animal husbandry, agronomy, and more. That's Hyper Food Independence every second and third Tuesday from 6:18 to 6:30 a.m. during Farm Talk, only on Power 106 FM. Hyper Food Independence is sponsored by Hypro.
And as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you.
¿Qué hora es en español? ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:30. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:30. 现在几点了？4点30分. 4:30 in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're delighted to have joining us at this time Dr. Agoram Dike, founder of Dr. Agoram CDK, President, Caribbean and African Faith-Based Leadership Conference, USA Liaison to the White House Faith-Based Cabinet Offices. Dr. Dike, good afternoon. How are you?
A pleasant good afternoon to you, Mr. Malcolm. And how is everything with you?
We're fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome home. Welcome.
Yes, happy to be home. We're all here at the Bob Marley Museum here in Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh, what a place to be. Stay where you are as we welcome CEO, founder of Milestone Medical Outreach, Inc., Dr. Felicia, or is it Felicia Bassi Akamune?
Yes, that's it. She's right here with us.
Okay, welcome. And we also have on the line Dr. Rosemary Adamson-Lewis, CEO, founder of Total Healthcare Services and Wellness and Rose's Garden of Hope Foundation, president as well. She has served as president of the Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA. Welcome home, Dr. Rose.
Thank you so much, Fergie. It's a pleasure to be here.
And so let's get straight to it. Pleasure to have you on board, Dr. Agoram Dike. To what do we owe this most special visit of yours and your team?
Well, we are here for several reasons. We are here to make connections with NGOs on the ground and to visit indigenous Africans here, descendants of runaway slaves, that's the Maroons, in St. Mary, and also to support the Jamaica Down Syndrome Foundation concert. And of course, we're looking forward to supporting Perpetual Praise this evening, hosted by Nadine Blair. We have with us Dr. Bassi, who's the main sponsor for the visit to the Maroons in St. Mary, and would like her to have the chance to go first.
Oh, by all means, please. Let me make sure I get it right, though. Is it Felicia or Felicia?
Felicia, sir.
Felicia, there we go. Dr. Felicia.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Welcome. It's a pleasure. Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune, CEO, founder of Milestone Medical Outreach, Inc. I don't mean to sound like an immigration officer, but what is the nature of your visit?
Okay. I'm a pediatrician and international medicine practitioner and public health. I am here to take healthcare to underserved populations. That's our mission at Milestone Medical Outreach Inc. And the Maroons have always read their history, and that is why my first port of call is to establish a relationship with them, and from there, link up with other underserved populations in Jamaica.
And have you started meeting and linking up just yet, or you're almost there?
Yes, we started linking through Dr. Agoram Dike and Dr. Rosemary.
And have you visited the all the maroon settlements yet?
Tomorrow morning we are going there.
Oh,
First
okay.
thing in the morning.
All right. And ultimately, what do you hope to achieve by virtue of what you'll be doing with the Maroons and for the Maroons?
The first point in public health is the needs assessment, because what I feel they need might not be what they need. So tomorrow we're going to donate some laptops, which is what they have requested, and then sit down and talk with their chief and get a needs assessment done.
Mm-hmm. And if you could just hold it there for a moment, Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune, let's bring in Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, CEO, founder of Total Healthcare Services and Wellness and Rose's Garden of Hope Foundation. And she has also served as Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA representative. Dr. Rose, thank you so much for joining us once again. And how will you be manifesting your commitment to this cause?
Okay, good afternoon again, Sergi. Homegirl is here helping to chaperone my two friends, Dr. DK and Dr. Bassett.
Yes.
So I will be going with them to visit the Maroon area. That will be my first visit.
Mm-hmm.
So as Dr. Bassett said, on a needs-based assessment. So from there, we will see what is required.
And the plan, therefore, is necessarily to come back to Jamaica to fill whatever needs you find during this period that you're here?
Oh, definitely. Just for the date to be announced.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yes.
All right. Let's thank you, Dr. Rose. Let's bring Dr. DK back into the discussion here. Thank you, Dr. Agoram DK, founder of.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. For the benefit of those unfamiliar with the work that you've been doing, my goodness, a lot of work from the continent of Africa to the Caribbean and North America, all over. Could you locate your work for us, especially for those who don't know of the work that you've been doing both inside and outside of Jamaica?
So one of our famous mantra is connection for mission and service throughout Africa and the Caribbean. And so we provide network and critical linkages to promote economic development and faith-based partnerships. I was in Africa for 2 months from December into the end of January, visiting South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, I remember the other countries. But was there to not just minister, but to meet with critical stakeholders and faith-based leaders this year, Zimbabwe. And so, we also use the opportunity to promote the conference, but we're basically here in Jamaica to reconnect and to give some more tangible support, not just to the faith community, but to NGOs. And Jamaica Down Syndrome Foundation is critical to us, so we'll be doing some needs assessment, and these are underserved people living in our country, and not much is invested in them by governments and others. And not maybe that the government doesn't have intention, but maybe lack of resources. And so we want to bring greater awareness to that, and also bring greater awareness to the Maroon community and the greater awareness to some of the challenges that faith communities are facing, to do assessment and to see how we can give guidance and also how we can mobilize resources to improve the circumstances that are existing at this current time.
And you have indeed mentioned the Maroon community or communities. Are there other groups or individuals or organizations you'll be looking to partner with or to engage in discussions with the potential outcomes?
Not in this is until Monday.
Oh, okay.
And so we have intentions to engage the Minister of Health at some point, as that is one of the areas that we focus a lot on global health and to connect with the Minister of Culture and Entertainment, Minister Bobsy Grange as well, and at some point the GT. And we really want to do that aspect of communication as, being broadly exposed to the African culture. We are able to facilitate kings visiting Jamaica from Africa, so that we know that we are not just people from poverty background, but we have our history in places where many kings and kingdoms are, and that would be very significant for Jamaica heritage promotions and stuff like that. We are going to push a town in Scott Hall, St. Mary, tomorrow as well, and we will see, learn more about the Maroons and see more of what they need. But definitely, the faith community is here, and we will be looking into seeing how we can engage. So we will be coming back. So this is just an initial visit.
All right. In some circles, they call it a recce, a reconnaissance, reconnaissance mission. And hold it right there, Dr. DK. Let's bring Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune into the discussion as again.
Okay, I'm going to finish. So let me just say one more thing before I go.
Sure.
So we are going to be visiting Power Faith Ministries on Sunday. We're connecting with Bishop Delford Davis, who's one of our honorees of this year.
Oh, that's going to be a big service, I can tell you that.
Definitely. And just, we want to remind Jamaicans, our famous conference in September during the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington. This is the 10th anniversary of the conference. And so several Jamaicans will be honored, and we will be doing more outreach to have the continued participation of the Jamaicans in that conference.
Excellent. Well done.
Can I talk to Dr.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. DK. All the very best. Wonderful. You're welcome. And to Dr. Felicia Bassi Akamune, once again, CEO, founder of Milestone Medical Outreach, Inc. Can you give us a bit more on Milestone Medical Outreach, Inc.?
Well, Milestone Medical Outreach, Inc. was incorporated in the United States in 2012 in the state of Maryland. I've always been involved in mission work from when I finished medical school. And mission work brought me to America and prospered me. So now I'm giving back. I'm 3 years post-medical school, thanks be to God. And I've been blessed richly. So my mission now is to go see where the need is, bring resources, bring specialists that are interested. Because a lot of people are willing to volunteer. They are willing to give, but they want trusted people that can go, find the underserved populations and bring them. So we are planning on engaging more trips to Jamaica as the government permits in the healthcare. So we need to meet with the health minister. We've been to Sierra Leone, we've been to Nigeria, we've supplied medical supplies to faith-based institutions in the Congo, medical supplies to Tanzania. We've taken care of contributions to orphanages as well.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of work. And thank you, Dr. Bassi Akamune. Now to Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, once again, CEO, founder of Total Healthcare Services and Wellness and Rose's Garden of Hope Foundation. And she has also served as president of the Jamaica Diaspora, Southern USA. How can Jamaicans at home and abroad keep abreast of the work that has been done so far and will be done with the collaborative efforts of those involved?
Thank you, Sergi. You can reach me at rosemarylewis.com, rosemarylewis.com, or 561-503-9703.
All right, sounds like you're pretty easy to reach. So we know you're going to have a busy day tomorrow, it seems, because you pretty much came in today, right? You flew in today.
Actually, last night.
Last night. Okay.
Yes. Ready to serve.
Excellent. All right, we'll have reason to speak with you and your colleagues again. But in the meantime, we have to wrap it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the privilege as we continue to serve. Have a wonderful day, Sir D.
Thank you so much. Same to you and yours. All the best to
All right.
Dr. Rosemary Adamson Lewis, CEO, founder of Total Healthcare Services and Wellness and Rosie's Garden of Hope Foundation. She has also served as president of the Jamaica Diaspora, Southern USA.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness, your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 876-922-4112 or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Only on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 14. 现在地点了5点14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? And some messages. Boy, there are so many messages still flowing in. This one says, hi, Dervan. You can say it, man. It was Emily. The pronouncement was made, and the tribute and eulogy all came in about half an hour. Don't know what you're talking about. Then Lazarus rose from the dead and called. Okay. Well, you'll have to help us unravel that one because I have no idea what you're talking about. But thank you for your message nonetheless. This one from GBO saying, good afternoon, Dervan. The nonsense most people texting and calling about Nigel is mainly a distraction. I've seen Eric Bell, Edward Siaga, PJ Patterson, Hugh Small, Omar Davies. Funny you should mention Hugh Small because where is it? Where is that piece of history we saw earlier? Let's see if we can plug it. The fact that you mentioned Hugh Small. Let's see. Where is it now? There's a bit of history involving Hugh Small. And, oh, where is it? Come on. Where's that bit of history? Ah, here we go. On this day in 1980, Hugh Small was appointed Minister of Finance and Planning in place of Eric Bell, who had resigned. So that's that connection. Let's go back to this message now. Right, so we were going through the message, names being called, Eric Bell, Edward Siaga, PJ Patterson, Hugh Small, Omar Davies, Audley Shaw, and Peter Phillips, all of whom were former finance ministers, writes GBO. I don't think any of those who I've mentioned, with the exception of Edward Siaga, has the prudence, substance, and the wit for economic policy like a Nigel Clark. Every year, his detractors have proposed alternative solutions and paths which he should take to solve the economic problem of Jamaica. But it's my view that the solutions would have taken us back to where we were in the 1990s to late 2000s, where we fiddled with economic policies. During that period, we didn't have external shocks like we are experiencing now Neither did we have a pandemic, yet our economy was contracting year after year. I hope those who led us to where we were are taking note, especially Mr. Run With It. Mr. Clark has risen the bar. I think you mean raise the bar. My hope is that we would have someone who has a better appreciation for economic policies in the PNP to provide us with added solutions instead of the constant oppose, oppose. I'm very proud to see where we are today. Big up Nigel, and please, no apologies, says GBO. Crocs in Black River says, every time I see Dr. Clark strutting around in Parliament, I expect to hear the theme song. Yes, we're moving on up to the top, to the Lux apartment in the sky. Oh, that song. I'm sorry, I couldn't bother to sing it afternoon. Time is going. This one says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I'm calling Mr. Clark to remove the GCT from groceries if he needs to help the poor people in Jamaica, and also cut the GST on service and goods to 10%. Jamaica has the highest tax, more than North America. Well, I don't know about that, but thank you for your message. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I have nothing to say. We will now focus our attention to the United States and our family here because carrying water in basket is a waste of time and effort. Sir Malcolm, continue to do the work for the people of Jamaica without fear or favor from any guy. Thank you, Cuban in Georgia. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Friday to you and your listeners. I'm so sorry to hear of Mr. Garnet Roper's illness. He is one of my favorite radio personalities. I love to listen to his preaching on a Sunday morning on the radio, also his commentary on political issues. I wish for him a speedy recovery. Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary. Thank you, Clarky Bless in Hunstown, St. Mary, for your message. Here is another from Howie. Good afternoon, teacher. It is overcast, still and humid here at class today. What will the adjustment in time mean in Britain? 5, 4, or 6 hours ahead? I think it would be 6. I think it would be 6. And another one here says, hi, Dervan, you can say it, man. Oh, I read that already. It was her proclaiming that Lloyd the Ras was really, I'm not saying that. From Paula in Cincinnati. All right, Paula in Cincinnati. Salah is back. He says, uh, what is he saying now? Where does the message start? This message. Spur tree bypass was cut by the Michael Manley government of the 70s. It was a very dangerous road to travel. Don't know what would happen if it were not done by the PNP. Can you imagine if these kind of drivers that we have now had to travel on Spur Tree? It would be a disaster for them. Salah from Kingston. Then he sends another message that says, say Dervan, the Spur Tree bypass. No, that we read it already, Salah. We read the message already. Sorry you missed it. Let's move on. Continuing with more on your program, both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Can we share with you a couple more nuggets of history before we have to wrap? Let's see. Uh, let's go down the line. Da 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 da. Alderman, uh, medical. 1932. Alderman, who that's the former name of a councillor. That's how councillors were referred to, alderman. So Alderman or Councillor Dr. Oswald Anderson informed members of the Council of the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation of investigations he had made, which revealed that people in need of urgent medical attention at the Kingston Public Hospital had been turned away, with many dying within 3 days of their refusal. A general lack of proper organization in the treatment of outdoor patients and delayed treatment to women suffering at the Kingston Maternity Hospital. Anderson pointed out there was only one doctor available to treat 300 outdoor patients per day, and he called for a public investigation into the conditions. That was 1932 in Jamaica, KPH. 1935, in an address on Jamaica's economic future at Edelweiss Park in Crossroads, St. Andrew, Marcus Garvey told a huge audience that, sadly, very few Jamaicans will help another Jamaican to succeed. And this is a very destructive attitude. A people who will not support themselves and each other will ultimately become unsupportable. We must push up each other to the heights of success instead of doing everything to make each other fail. Words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey in 1935 in Jamaica. Olga Monteith, 14-year-old pupil of Eldersley Elementary School and daughter of its headmaster, was the winner of the All-Island Essay Competition for the prize of 2 guineas and her essay on the subject, What Has Emancipation Done for Us as a People? That was 1939. The same year, Carlton Davis was born, the son of Amy Briscoe Davis and Rupert Davis, born in Maypen, Clarendon. Trevor Roan, the son of Hezekiah and Rosamond Roan, was born on this day in 1940. Monroe College emerged the 1945 track and field champions of the secondary school boys at Sabina Park in Kingston. Jamaica College placed second with 33 1/5 of the points. Champion athlete Lindy Della Pena, captain of the Monroe team, who entered 8 events and earned 12 points by placing first in the mile open, second in the long jump and 220 yards, and third in the 100 and 440 yards. Basil McKenzie of Jamaica College won the 100, 220, and 440. 1952, Ian Fleming, author of the James Bond spy thrillers, which had been written at his home, GoldenEye in St. Mary, and Anne Viscountess Rothernon were married by the civil registrar, L.A. Robinson in Port Maria. The marriage was witnessed by English playwright Noel Coward, who also had a home in a place called Firefly in St. Mary. Noel Nethersole is, well, there was a bit of history on him on this day, 1954, but we're almost out of time. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Friday, the 24th of March, 2023. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns to Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm, encouraging you to join us in the morning if you can on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online. If you can't, we understand. It's a Friday, it's a Saturday morning, and not many of us are prepared to give up that long sleep, so to speak. So we understand if you're not able to join us. Other than that, all things being well, we'll see you on Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Please have a safe and peaceful weekend.
Called him up just the other day. I said I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said I thought you, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids are the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue man. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. We're gonna have a good time there.
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Hi, Mrs.
Power
Parker.
106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Thank you.
Yes.
How have you been? All is well?
Not bad at all, not bad. Just my feet, but otherwise.
So they haven't come up with a formula yet to help you to better cope.
Well, my neighbor, she was away for a few weeks and she's back. She had started to put my feet in Epsom salt and rub with something, So, but I've